What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday, because today's video is going to be focusing on the Anti-Venom event, Waking Nightmare, which is going live on Thursday at the store reset, just at the start of the second She-Hulk Blitz. In the first part of this video, we're going to be going over and checking out the milestones themselves and how you obtain points from it and the rewards that we can expect to get. The second part of the video is going to be my spreadsheet math section, where I'm going to be going over the expectations for this event and how many days it's likely going to take for you to clear the milestones with the information that we have right now. Now, one disclaimer is that we don't have the data for the daily blitz and arena milestone related to the Mask Caper trait, which is a solo milestone. We don't know how much or if they're even going to be giving us any Fright Orb fragments out of this, which would impact the total amount of blitzing that we might have to do to finish the Orb Opening milestone. So when we get to the spreadsheet math, and particularly the Orb Opening and Blitz portion, it's going to be taking the worst case in mind, and that this solo daily milestone might just give us Anti-Venom shards potentially and not any Orb fragments, although it's really hard to say at this point. That being said, if we do get Orb fragments in the daily milestone, that means the worst case scenario math will be a little bit better come Thursday. Anyways, enough talking about that for just now, so without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so here we are in the events section of the game here, and you can see that Waking Nightmare, that's the name of the Anti-Venom event, does start, as of this video, 3 days, 17 hours, which should be around the store reset time on Thursday, just when the She-Hulk Blitz is starting. So now if you click on this, it gives you an idea of what to expect. So there's going to be the Fright Light Orb, and this is going to be the unique orb specific to Anti-Venom, where you're going to have a higher chance of getting Anti-Venom in there alongside some other goodies probably as well. And so how you're going to be getting these is through the Dream Warriors milestone. Now, this is the solo daily milestone that I was talking about, so we don't have any information on this because it hasn't been made available to us. This is by using Masked Caper trait characters for Blitz and Arena mode. Now, there's a lot of stuff in here. It's to score points by winning, but usually it's just doing any matches in Arena. Just like some of the events previous that involved Arena, I don't believe that you're actually going to need to win, because this could be really difficult for those of us who use Black Order. And, you know, normally I would just fill in the team with Masked Caper characters and just, you know, do some suicide matches or some throwaway matches for Arena and get some points that way. For Blitz, it'll be a lot easier to actually do Mask Caper Blitz, and that's all going to be involving this Dream Warriors milestone. Outside of the general farming that you're probably going to need to do for Orb Fragments in Blitz anyways. So, and then the Lucid Dream Raid milestone, we do have this here. So this is the Raid Alliance milestone. So just keep that in mind. This is an Alliance milestone, but it's specific to raids using the Mask Caper character. So when we get to the math, we'll have a look at how much that you're going to be expected to do for this in order to clear it. And then again, we'll go through the milestone as well, which includes Anti-Venom shards and a lot of other stuff as well. The Night Terror milestone, this is the Orb Opening milestone, and basically you're going to get Anti-Venom shards based on how many orbs that you open throughout the event. So we'll get to that as well, and that'll give you a good idea as to how much blitzing you're going to need to do. And unfortunately, we don't actually know how long the event is going to last. I'm going to wager that it's at least 10 days, but it could be as long as 14. So anywhere in between that, we don't really know, and we're not going to know that until Thursday. So when you click the go button, it should send us to the milestone section where we can see Lucid Dream and Night Terror. So the Lucid Dream, this is the Alliance Raid milestone. We can preview this. And obviously there's no points here yet, but you can click on the scoring and it'll tell you how you get points. So you get 7 points for winning or losing a raid battle with a Mask Caper trait character, and then 2 for winning or losing any raid battle. So if you were to fill your whole team with Mask Caper characters, you would get a total of 35 points plus 2 for winning or losing, and that's 37. But of course we'll get to that more when we get to the spreadsheet math. And what can you expect to get in here? Well, we have, okay, for some reason the picture's not showing on my blue stacks, but these are, oh, there we go. That's the Fright Light Orb Fragment. So this is the unique orb specific to Anti-Venom. And again, I've done all the math in terms of what you can expect on the spreadsheet as well. Basically, it's just a bunch of those orb fragments, some ABCs, some purple training materials, because people have been complaining a little bit about the training materials. I'm doing personally okay, but I know there's a lot of people out there who are kind of feeling a crunch on that. It's not amazing in terms of what they give you, and then the rest of it's just a handful of Anti-Venom shards, I believe about 11 total, with some superior basic catalysts. So again, don't be too concerned about the milestones just now. We'll be going through that in the spreadsheet portion. And I just want to go back and then go through the Night Terrors milestone. Now this is the Orb Opening milestone related to the Fright Light orbs and you getting Anti-Venom shards. So the way you get points 666, this is exactly the same as last year for the Ghost Rider event in terms of the points. It's really dumb because when you do the math, actually there's an uneven number of orbs that you have to open, something like 53 or something anyways. We'll get to that again in the spreadsheet. I don't know why they can't do a better number for that than that, but I get it, it's Halloween, but it just adds to the confusion. Anyways, there's a lot of sort of purple catalysts, mostly anti-venom shards, to be honest. And again, I have that all listed out, the total rewards, when we get to the spreadsheet portion. So I just wanted to go over this really quickly for you guys so that we can jump on over to the spreadsheets where I have all the math laid out, and we'll go through it together, and hopefully it'll make some sense for you guys. So let's jump on over there. Alright, so here we are in the spreadsheet portion of the video. I just want to make clear that this will be made available as well in the description below if you want to take a look at it on your own time as well, or if you want to share it around with your alliance or whomever, if this helps you guys to start thinking about how to clear the event. So we're going to be going through this together, and if you guys have been with me in previous event math videos, then you'll know that it has a similar layout. I'm not the best when it comes to graphic design or just sort of layouts and things like that, but we'll be going through it together, and hopefully it makes some sense for you guys. So to start off, we're going to be looking at the Lucid Dream Raid Milestone. So that's the first one that we took a look at. And so again, the points here are as follows. So you're going to be getting 7 points for winning or losing a raid match with Mass Caper. So anything that says MC, that's Mass Capers, because I didn't want to keep repeating it over and over again. And then you get 2 points for winning or losing a raid battle. And so combined, if you were to use a full team, if this is Ultimates for example, and using a full team of Mass Caper characters, you're going to get 37 per match. Now, this math here is going to be assuming that you're doing 10 raid attacks. Now, I know not everyone does that many, but we can alter the points here later on once I go through it, and we can take a look at how it changes when you do less attacks than that. But this is going to assume that you're doing 10 raid attacks, preferably 5 near the beginning and then maybe 5 later on throughout the day. And so they're also going to include Greek raids. Now, I do believe when this event goes live, it's going to be the alpha raid, not the current gamma raid. But because the lanes vary, and obviously City would be the easiest because that includes all of the symbiote characters and such, I find that Global kind of lacks better raid characters when it comes to the Mass Caper trait. So for this point calculation, we're actually only going to be assuming that you're only using a minimum of 2 Mass Caper characters. That's just to compensate for things like the Cosmic and the Global lane. There are actually some pretty decent Cosmic characters, such as Black Bolt, I believe Minerva as well, and Proxima Midnight and such. So it shouldn't be too hard, but I just wanted to be a bit conservative in terms of who people might have be available or what lane you're made to do for this. So we're doing 2 raid attacks for this, so you're going to get 16 points. That would be the 7 times 2 plus 2, and so that would give you 16 if you're using 2 Mass Caper characters. I multiplied by that 10 again, just like the Ultimates, and you would get 160 points. Now I added them both together, the 160 and the 370, and you get 530. So if you're doing all of that, the 530 is what you would get individually. Now, if you multiplied that by 24, again, also assuming that you have a full alliance at 24 people, you would get 12,720 points if you did everything I just said. Now, the total points you need to clear the milestone is 93,000. So the math that we have, if we scroll down a little bit here, is if you take that 93,000, divide it by 12,720, you get 7.31 days. So that's the sort of requirement it would be if you did everything above, how many days it would take to clear that milestone. Now, again, we don't know how long that milestone is going to be for. I would assume for the whole duration of the event, which hopefully is at least 10 days. I hope maybe closer to 14 days, that would be great. And so it probably wouldn't be all that difficult to clear. Now, we can see if we change some of these numbers. Let's say if we do like 8 attacks on Ultimus and 8 attacks on the Greek raids. You can see how the numbers sort of change here. Let's go here. Change it from 10 to 8, and then you get about 9 and a bit days if you just did that. So there is some wiggle room in terms of how active your alliance might be, or if you're trying to carry somebody because they're less active than you'd like them to be. But you can see, and we can go even lower, maybe to 6, how it's gonna look. So it turns out to be about 12 and a bit days. So that's kind of pretty on the low end if you do 6 attacks daily. But if the event is as long as 14 days, even that would actually qualify for that. So we're gonna take it back to 10 just for the sake of the video here, and clearing that back up. So you're going to be anywhere from 7.5 days to about whatever was the last one, about 12 or so days. So if the event does last for a full 2 weeks, then you'll be more than fine clearing that, assuming you're in a full alliance. Now, what are you going to get for rewards for this? I did calculate them all out. It was a bit annoying here. You do get 5 total Fright Light Orbs. I think it was 5,400 gear credits. Maybe I was a bit, maybe I didn't add it up correctly there. 30 ABCs, 50 SBCs, 15 purple stat catalysts, 125 purple training materials for those people who still need training mats, and 11 anti-venom shards. Now, these 5 orbs here are kind of important going down to the next milestone, which is the orb opening milestone math, and that will contribute, assuming that you get to clear the entire raid milestone. That's kind of the calculations we're going to be doing for that. So let's scroll down here, and I have the second section here. This is the Night Terror's milestone, the orb opening. Now, you do get 666, so 666 points. For opening a single Fright Light Orb. Now, if you do the entire raid milestone, you do get 5 orbs, and so that's calculated at 3,330 points. Now, here I put orbs from the daily milestone because we don't know. So at this point, I don't know if there's going to be any orb fragments given for that daily blitz and arena milestone. If it does, I've added it here so that I'll recalculate how much you need for this overall, and then I'll provide that update for you guys as well sometime around Thursday or Friday, just to give people an idea of how much blitzing you're going to need to do to compensate based on what we know about the daily milestone when it goes live. So the total points needed for this is 41,400. Now, if you subtract the 5 orbs that you get from the raid milestone, you get this number, 38,070, and so I'm calculating it using this value here. So the total orbs needed to farm is 57 and a bit, or probably 58 because you can't open just 57. So I got that value by taking the 38,070 and dividing it by 666, what's left over, and you need about that. Now, this is where we get to the blitzing portion, which unfortunately is a bit grim, and I'm sure you guys kind of expected that, but when it comes to blitzing and Marvel Strike Force and events like this, normally it's a bit on the rougher side. So let's scroll down, and this is what we get. So this is the worst case scenario farming because we don't know the contribution about the daily milestones, but we do know that you do get Fright Light fragments for winning blitz matches. This is from Ghost Rider and from Cyclops, where they I think the anniversary event, maybe, and maybe the summer event with the chimichangas, we got something like this as well. Or maybe not the chimichangas, sorry, that's the wrong thing. I think that was a different thing. But definitely Ghost Rider and Cyclops, you got orb fragments for winning a blitz match. Now, the minimum for that is 50. If I'm not mistaken, there was other denominations, including 100, maybe 250, 350, to be honest, I don't remember them all, 500 and 2,000. I think it was possible at a very, very, very low odd to get a full orb doing this, but for the sake of this video and for the sake of the math, we're just going to be the worst case. You have horrendous luck and you're getting 50 fragments every single blitz win. Which is unlikely to happen, but this just kind of gives you an idea of what's gonna, what to expect at the worst end. So the minimum blitz wins that you would need per orb at that rate would be about 40. So you'd have to win 40 blitz matches, which is over a rotation, really, one full rotation to get one orb. Now, using that math as well, how many blitz wins do you need for 57 orbs? It's going to be 2,286 and a half, or rounding up, 87. And so that's a lot of blitz wins. So this, now, if you have 28 full teams, I looked at how many characters are in the game and potentially how many blitz teams could you actually run at the low end to complete. Now, I came up with 224. Now, that's 28 blitz teams because I think that's the maximum amount of blitz teams you could create if you have the majority or all of the characters unlocked. And then I times it by 8 because that's the amount of free-to-play maximum that you can do without spending blitz charges and things like that. And so that came out to 224 blitz matches. That's literally if you're doing 8 rotations every single day, and maxing that out, and which is very unlikely for most people. But if you did do that, and so the days needed solely on worst case blitzing, 10.2 or 10.5 or whatever you want to call it. It's not quite 10, not quite 11. And so that's if you did 8 rotations every single day. Now we can change the math and we can lower it to 6 and 4 rotations and things like that. And you can see how the numbers are going to get worse. So let's do that. So let's change this from 8 rotations. This is assuming you have all the characters unlocked. Let's do this to 6 rotations and see how the math changes. And we get 13.6 days. Now, like I said, if the event goes as long as 14 days, you might still pass it, but that's at the bare minimum drop rate. Now we can do this again and we can do this for 4 rotations with all the characters, and you see it jumps dramatically actually to about 20 days. Did I do that right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm surprised it dropped, increased that heavily, but there you go. So that's 4 rotations there with 28 teams. And so let's go back up to 10, I mean, which really means it's probably not possible. You would probably need somewhere around the 6 rotations in order to get enough fragments, assuming the bare minimum drop. So let's change this back to 10. Or sorry, yeah, 8 rotations, sorry, not 10. And so we're looking at about 10 and a bit days. Now, I presumably we might get some fragments from the daily milestones. Again, we don't know that. And also that, you know, you're very likely to get more than 50 orb fragments every single blitz match. So likely this number is going to be a bit lower than expected, but do keep that in mind. It's a lot of blitzing, and your hands or whatever you would use the blitz is going to be really tired by the end of this event if you want to finish it. Now, personally, I don't know. I don't even remember completing the milestone when Ghost Rider was live, so this may not be... They may not expect you to actually clear this completely free to play. You know, there might be the possibility that, you know, they expect you, they wholly expect you to pay to buy some of the orbs that they'll definitely have on offer for you to get closer to finishing this milestone. So whether or not this is actually free to play accessible, it'll be hard to tell. We'll have to recalculate this when we have the daily milestones to see if it changes the numbers at all. But it does look a bit tough, and it's going to be really painstaking to clear. And there you have it. So obviously there's going to be a lot of blitzing involved, just like events in the past, and I find it a bit funny because this likely will be one of the last events of this kind, at least until blitz simming seems to going to be coming, is going to be coming to us in December. But that might be a whole other topic to discuss at a later point, and what they decide to replace blitz time instead. I'm hoping that the solo milestone does include some orb fragments rather than anti-venom shards, which is a weird thing to say, but that it would help move along the numbers required in terms of orb opening. Also hoping that the event maybe lasts closer to 14 days, that'd be great, but if it doesn't, you know, it's gonna have to be at least 10 to 12 days or more to finish the orb opening event free to play. Otherwise, it doesn't look like it's gonna be possible. That being said, here are the total rewards for the orb opening milestone portion. So there is 68 anti-venom shards, 3,000 gear credits, 40 ABCs, 15 purple stat catalysts, 150 SBCs, 50 orange stat catalysts, and 12 of the bio mini uniques, and then 8 of all the other ones, as far as I'm aware. I think I calculated that correctly. So there we have it, but that's all from me for today, and I hope that you guys found this informative and useful, and if you did, please smash that like button down below and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And of course, till next time guys, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylon signing out.